All praises to Yahweh, Bashim Shai, Bashim Padash, double honors to the elders and apostles of great restored. Shalom to the elect which in this word in truth and in sincerity. With the hope of receiving mercy for Yahweh, Bashim Shai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son. The so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures. I want to make it known that the RFID microchip is the MOTB. Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment as it is written. And as you can see the state of the world right now, a lot of people are going through financial crisis, meaning them can't sustain the high cost of living. So you have a lot of looting, a lot of crimes. Plus, you have a lot of so-called natural disasters taking place around the world. You have conflicts and tensions. And all these things are taking place simultaneously. Them call last year, the word for last year that was kind was perma-crisis, which means constant crisis. And then the year to follow you have polycrisis. So we're in such a time in which Yahweh Shem Shai, I met the words that he have declared aforetime are come to pass. Is it not written in 2 Ezra 50 verse 1, so the Lord said, I'm going to bring plagues upon the world, sword, famine, death, and destruction. So as you can see, it's a government doomsday stockpile. So when I say doomsday, first thing I'm going to go to Google and say, type in doom. It say death, destruction, or some other terrible fate. And these are the times in which we have been declaring to you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And I read in, I want to say, 2 Timothy's 3 verse 1, we read, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. When I look up this word perilous right here, it go back to the Greek word kalepos, which means hard to bear, troublesome. As the scripture defines the time of Jacob's trouble. So we're heading into troublesome times, turbulent times, dangerous. These are all abbreviation for the words harsh, fierce, savage. These are the times that we're heading into, in which people now going to regard even their neighbors in the times to come. That's how serious of times we're heading into. Which scripture refers to these times as the times of Jacob's trouble, the times of great perils. So I want to go straight into this clip.
Now hear this. In Europe, they're constructing the largest doomsday stockpile that they have ever had. This construction is getting quietly underway in Finland as the country is beginning to stockpile its emergency supplies to help prepare for what they call an eventual nuclear catastrophe. It was funded by the European Union as a project that has been spurred by the threats posed by Russia's conflict with NATO. Now, this recent conversion towards a doomsday prep says that this stockpile will include protective gear, things like the things that are needed for undergoing outside activities during a nuclear event, measuring equipment that can measure how much radiation there is in the air, medicine, vaccines, things that are involved in chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear threats. Finland was funded almost $300 million for the project after the European Commissioner for Crisis Management said that this war confirms the need to strengthen CBRN preparedness, which is basically chemical, biological, and radiation preparedness.
OneGuard Studio is a digital first agency. We like to help businesses connect the dots seamlessly across,
which is basically chemical, biological, and radiation preparedness. Now, why isn't America doing this right now? Finland just joined NATO. This membership spurred on by recent threats from Russia. They share a border that's 800 miles long with Russia. It's the closest to the Baltic states, which have warned that there is a danger in Russia's nuclear capabilities, especially in Putin giving over nuclear weapons to the Belarusian President Lukashenko. The project manager, Tara Rantala, said in a statement that while similar reserves are being set up in France, in Poland, in Croatia, you see, these things are happening all across the world. These countries are getting ready for large-scale nuclear events. That Helsinki's plan is the world's largest.
So, countries around the world are preparing for what? What will cause these large-scale nuclear events? World War III. And these things we have been speaking on for quite a while. Would a lot of people disregard the words that we're speaking, but the scripture tells us that the poor man's wisdom is despised. Because we're not looked at as somebody of any notoriety in society. Not knowing that the words that we have been declaring are the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. But the Lord just revealed them unto babes. So this is Matthew 24. I'm going to start at verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? Talking about what? Doomsday, the end of the world. And the Lord list out various events and things that are going to transpire in that period of time. Going to verse 6, it says, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And you are being fed with that now on these news media outlets. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. And that is what the scripture says. They must come to pass. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine, and pestilence, and earthquake in diverse places. So in the midst of all the chaotic things that might transpire, you have to worry about pestilence, so-called natural disaster. Now you have a storm where ahead to America, you have different developments taking place in the Caribbean, different weather phenomenon. You have fires tearing down Canada, over 5,000 fires. You have Maui, people they have to evacuate due to the fires, the amount of life lost. You have floods, you have destroyed various communities in China. Earthquakes over there in Turkey. And between Syria, where I take over 40,000 lives. These things are not done or accidentally happen or coincidentally happen. Let me use that word. These things are being done by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But nobody regards the judgment of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in the earth. Verse 8 says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. And when I read 2 Ezra 16, verse 18, it goes straight to it. The beginning of sorrows and great mourning. The beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And that is somewhat people should all consider. Long before the evil draw nigh, as it is written in Ecclesiastes 12. So seek ye the Lord before the evil days draw nigh. And the evil days are literally at your doorsteps, peeping through your windows. Whether you believe this, yes or not. Because we're into the time in which the wrath of Yahweh Shemir Shai, the indignation of the Lord is upon what? All nations, as is written in Isaiah 34. So the time of judgment is at hand. Isn't that written in 2nd Ezra, I want to say 8, verse 61? Let's see. And therefore is my judgment now at hand. And now Yahweh Shemir Shai judgment is at hand. That's why you see the signs them are play out, yo. These things have I not showed unto all men, but unto thee, and a few like thee. Then answered I and said, Behold, O Lord, now as thou showed me the multitude of the wonders which thou will begin to do in the last times, but at what time thou hast not shown me. So if you read 2nd Ezra 9, you understand, say, the Lord tell Ezra to measure the time diligently using signs, the prophecies, which are tokens used to tell you where you're at in prophecy. And now we're in the last days. The day of doom is approaching. So let's go back to this clip.
The world's largest, that it's going to be ready before it's needed. That's what their hope is anyways, that they're going to be prepared for a nuclear event before one takes place, and that's really what we're looking for here in our community. Just do any little bit that we can. Of course, we're not being funded by the government, given $300, $400, $500 million to get all the food we need, the bunkers built, the radiation measuring equipment ready. But what we do have is a little bit of foresight into what is happening today. And in that foresight, we're able to look a little bit into the future and see that we are on a path to nuclear damnation, on a path to global catastrophe. Whether it's a biological release, an EMP that shuts down all of our cars, our gas pumps, and our...
Listen to this. President, get ready. President alert. China war news. China president told to get ready. Get ready for what? What they might get ready for, yo? That's why it's written in Joel 3 verse 9. To proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. That is what Yahweh Shemir Shai is doing right now. He's mustering the hosts of the battle. Now put the various chess pieces in place. Now make nations choose sides.
Our electricity or something larger that takes place. We know that we are entering into a time of extreme turmoil and turbulence in the American and the global populace. Now, this project was in part of an EU civil protection mechanism. They say the heart of this is the Response Coordination Center in Brussels. They say they are prioritizing getting civilians prepared right now. They're collecting material, they're making stockpiles, they're transporting it, they're testing it against radiation, they're establishing strategic reserves on a scale that they say is the largest to its extent in a pilot project. Now, when contacted for comment by different media outlets, they say that these stockpiles aren't directly related to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but of course, the quote continues, that is one of the main factors behind it. They say that the EU Commission started to plan to open up
This is 2nd Ezra 7 verse 42. He answered me and said, This present life is not the end where much glory doeth abide. Therefore, have they prayed for the weak, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. And this is our hope, yo. This is our hope. This is the day that we wait on, yo. The day when this world is no more and the kingdom of heaven get established in righteousness. These are the things that we hold dear unto, because people don't understand how close they are to the end. The scripture says, it's high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when he believed. So hope this was edifying. With that, I want to say, Kalalal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Akal Kodesh. Shalom.